I got in my first real fight when I was 13 years old. His name was Derek. And for about 30 seconds, while we were rolling around on the cafeteria floor throwing wild punches, I thought I was winning. But I wasn't. Because fighting doesn't work the way you think it does. I'm Midnight Leon, and tonight, I want to tell you about the day I lost my temper. About a bully who pushed me too far. About my father pulling us apart. And about what he said to me in the car on the way home that made me realize something I've carried with me ever since. Violence doesn't solve problems, it just creates new ones. Stay with me, this one's about anger. And about learning the hardest lesson a young man can learn, that real strength isn't about throwing punches, it started small. Derek was a kid in my grade, 8th grade, fall of 1977. He was bigger than me, not huge, just bigger, taller, heavier. And he had this thing where he needed everyone to know he was tough. You know the type, always talking loud, always pushing people, always looking for a reaction. At first, it was small stuff, bumping into me in the hallway. Oh, my bad, knocking my books off my desk when he walked by, calling me names under his breath. Nothing I could prove, nothing I could respond to without looking like I was starting something. But it was always there. My father had taught me, walk away. Don't let people pull you into their mess. So I walked away, ignored it, told myself it didn't matter. But it did matter. Because every time Derek did something and I didn't respond, he did it again. Bigger, louder, testing me. And I could feel something building inside me, this pressure, this anger. I tried to ignore it, but you can only ignore something for so long before it explodes. It was a Tuesday, lunchtime. I was carrying... I don't remember deciding to do it. I just swung. My fist hit his jaw. Not hard, not like in movies, just a wild, angry punch. He stumbled back, eyes wide, surprised. And then he swung back. We weren't boxing, we weren't fighting with technique or strategy. We were just two kids throwing punches, messy, chaotic, desperate. I grabbed his shirt, he grabbed mine. We fell to the ground, rolling, hitting, shouting. I don't even know what I was trying to do. I wasn't thinking. I was just angry. The other kids were yelling, crowding around, some cheering, some telling us to stop. I felt someone grab my arm. A teacher. Enough! Both of you, enough! They pulled us apart. Derek and I stood there, breathing hard, shirts torn, faces scratched, staring at each other. And I realized something. I was scared, not of Derek, but of what I'd just done, of how out of control I'd felt, of how close I'd come to really hurting him, or him hurting me. The principal's office was cold. Derek sat on one side of the room. I sat on the other. We didn't look at each other. The principal called our parents. My father showed up 30 minutes later. He walked in, looked at me, didn't say anything, just nodded to the principal. They talked. I couldn't hear what they were saying, but I saw my father's face. He wasn't angry, he was disappointed, which was worse. 3 days suspension, the principal said. Both of you. My father nodded. Understood. He stood up. Come on. I followed him out to the car. The whole walk, I was expecting him to yell. To tell me how stupid I was, how I'd embarrassed him, how I should have known better. But he didn't say anything. We got in the car, he started driving. Silence. I couldn't take it anymore. I'm sorry, I said. He didn't respond right away, just kept driving. Then quietly he asked, "Did it solve anything?" I looked at him. What? The fight. Did it solve anything? I thought about it. Derek would still be Derek. He'd still talk, still push. Maybe even worse now. Nothing had changed. No, I said. My father nodded. That's what I thought. We drove for a while in silence. Then my father pulled into a parking lot, turned off the engine, just sat there. I waited. Finally, he spoke. "I got in a fight once. Ever tell you that?" "No, sir." "I was 15, about your age." He stared out the windshield, not looking at me, just remembering. There was this kid, bigger than me, always running his mouth, always trying to make me look small in front of people. I listened. One day he said something about my mama. I don't even remember what it was, but it made me so angry I couldn't see straight. He paused. So I hit him, and we fought. Right there in the street. "Did you win?" I asked. He looked at me. "Win? Yeah, did you?" "I knocked him down," my father said. Stood over him while he was on the ground. Felt like the biggest man in the world for about 10 seconds. He turned back to the windshield. Then I saw his face. He was scared, hurt, humiliated. Another pause. And I realized something. In that moment, I wasn't defending myself. I wasn't protecting anything. I was just hurting someone because I was angry. He looked at me again, and that made me just like him. I didn't know what to say. "You understand what I'm saying?" he asked. I think so. When you fight someone, you become the thing you're trying to stop. You become the bully, the aggressor, the person using violence to get what they want. "But he started it." "Doesn't matter who started it," my father said firmly. "Matters who you are when it's over." He put his hand on my shoulder. "You think fighting Derek made you strong, made you a man?" I didn't answer. It didn't. It made you scared. I saw your face when they pulled you off him. You were terrified. He was right. Real strength, my father said, isn't about throwing punches. It's about controlling yourself when everything in you wants to explode. But people will think I'm weak if I don't fight back. Let them think that. You know who you are. That's what matters. We sat there for a long time. Then he started the car. "You're suspended for 3 days, he said. "You're going to spend those 3 days helping me fix the fence in the backyard. We're going to work. We're going to talk. And you're going to think real hard about the kind of man you want to be." "Yes, sir." As we pulled out of the parking lot, he said one more thing. "Derek's going to keep being Derek. That's his choice. But you get to choose who you are. Don't let him decide that for you." Those 3 days, my father and I rebuilt that fence, post by post, board by board. We didn't talk much, just worked. But on the second day, he asked me, "You still angry?" I thought about it. "Yeah, a little." "At Derek?" "Yeah." "Why?" "Because he's a jerk. Because he made me look stupid in front of everyone." My father hammered a nail into a board, straightened up, looked at me. "He didn't make you look stupid. You chose to fight. That was your decision." "But I know he provoked you. He pushed you. But he didn't make you swing. You did that." I wanted to argue, but I couldn't. Because he was right. That's the hardest thing to learn, my father said. That you're responsible for your own actions, no matter what someone else does, no matter how much they push. He handed me a hammer. "You think Derek's thinking about you right now?" "I don't know." "He's not. He's probably at home, playing, doing whatever." "You think he's losing sleep over this?" "Probably not." "So why are you letting him live in your head? Why are you giving him that power?" I didn't have an answer. "When you hold on to anger," my father said, "you're the one carrying it. Not him. You're the one who suffers." We worked in silence for a while. Then he said, "You know what takes more strength than fighting?" "What?" "Walking away, letting it go, choosing not to engage." "But people will think." "I don't care what people think, and neither should you. You know why?" "Why?" Because the people who matter, they'll respect you more for walking away. The people who don't respect that, they're not worth your time anyway. He put down his hammer, looked at the fence we'd built. This fence, we built it together. It's strong, it's solid, it'll last years. He tapped it with his hand. That fight with Derek, it lasted 30 seconds, and it didn't build anything, it just broke things. He looked at me. You want to be the kind of man who builds, or the kind who breaks? Builds, I said quietly. Then act like it. I went back to school after the suspension. Derek was there. We saw each other in the hallway. He looked at me, I looked at him. Neither of us said anything, and that was it. No rematch, no more provocations, nothing. I think we both realized the fight had been stupid, pointless. Derek eventually moved away. I don't know where, don't really care. But I carried what my father taught me. And I'll be honest, it was hard. There were other times, other people who pushed me, who tried to provoke me. And every time I felt that same anger, that same urge to swing. But I remembered my father's words. Real strength is controlling yourself. So I walked away. And you know what? Some people did think I was weak. They talked, they called me names, said I was scared. But the people who mattered, the people I respected, they understood. And over time I realized something. The kids who kept fighting, they got angrier, more violent, more out of control. But the ones who learned to walk away, they became leaders, mentors, builders. They became the kind of men who didn't need to prove anything to anyone. I'm 63 years old now, and I haven't been in a fight since I was 13. Not because I'm scared, not because I can't, but because I learned that fighting doesn't solve problems, it just creates more. And I learned that real strength isn't about how hard you can hit. It's about how much you can endure without hitting back. My father taught me that on those 3 days working on a fence in the backyard. And I've tried to pass that lesson on to my own kids, because violence is easy. Any fool can throw a punch. But choosing peace when everything in you wants to fight, that takes real courage. I'm Midnight Leon. Thank you for sitting with me tonight. Next time on Golden Days Radio, I'm going to tell you about the time I lied to my mother, about a broken window and a baseball, about her looking me in the eye and asking, "Did you do it?" and about why I finally told the truth. Until then, keep the lights low and the memories warm. And if someone's pushing you, trying to pull you into their anger, remember, you don't have to swing, you can walk away, and that doesn't make you weak, it makes you wise. Trust me on that. Good night, my friend.